Today, we are going to learn about Azure Arc and how it can help you simplify operations, managing and securing your resources across the distributed environments. So together we are with my colleagues. I'm very pleased to be talking about an new capability that we announced at Microsoft Inspire last year. That was extended security updates by Arc that went into general availability, and this will be one of the key focus topics for today. To set the screen, we'll be spending a little bit of time on hybrid cloud trends and then how Azure Arc value proposition fits into that, as well as talk about the customer studies and benefits of Azure Arc in business and technical forms. And we'll also go a little bit deep dive on the extended security updates enabled by Azure Arc, how you can get started on enabling these benefits, and then obviously best practices for hybrid cloud adoption. Feel free to jump in and throw your questions at the end of the chat if that's okay. Okay, so let's move to the hybrid and multi-cloud trends. What are we talking about and what is it all about? Let's look into some current trends when it comes to cloud adoption. So business leaders are increasingly looking to fuel innovation with cloud native services and to be AI ready where they are looking to the cloud as an enabler. IDC and Gartner studies predict that 90% of new apps will be embedded by AI by 2025, and 95% of these new initiatives will be cloud native by 2025. So we are all, of course, engaged with many customers on how cloud migrations can enable these future innovation capabilities. But why should we migrate to Azure? Migration to Azure provides you with the best of both worlds, the optimized platform to fully embrace AI and cloud native applications, while also maximizing ROI and giving necessary platform uh, performance and resilience for your entire technology estates. All of this delivered with comprehensive code to cloud security. This is particularly true for those of you who have been relying on Microsoft technologies in your business for years, which is Windows or SQL Server, using those, and also familiarizing your technologies with Azure that can help you driving the outputs, in a most common important way. So how do we see Azure as the best cloud to deliver these successful business outcomes through industry leading, best in class solutions and offers? You can maximize your ROI in the cloud and save up to 80% on the largest investments, including Windows and SQL servers. You can improve your business performance and resiliency with unmatched price performance and running on the largest cloud network on the planet. You can also mitigate risks with comprehensive code to cloud security and compliance that can help you deliver 219% ROI on security consolidation over 3 years. Azure is only cloud that offers native security, going beyond Azure to manage security on other clouds like AWS, Google Cloud, or hybrid cloud environments. And then migration to Azure also provides secure and AI-ready foundation for the performance and scale that customers' advanced AI solutions demand. So as we recognize that all cloud IT environment is still far away from a reality from most enterprise organizations, as some of these largest cloud trends for the EMEA region show us here. In many industries, there are workloads that rightly cannot move to the cloud for regulatory reasons, and we are seeing about 2/3 of enterprises adopt hybrid approach with investments spread across on-prem and multiple cloud providers. And we are at Microsoft recognizing hybrid is not a middle ground. From beginning of Azure, we have embodied principles of flexibility and choice, meeting customers where they are, whether it's hybrid, multi-cloud, cloud native across the entire spectrum. As we observe cloud journey the customers are on, we see customers transform their business not in just public cloud, but also in their own data centers and at the edge. So we will now cover a little bit on across cloud and edge collectively consistently with the Azure Arc overview. So what is Azure Arc? As we think about Azure and the cloud, it is important to frame that cloud is both architectural and an operational model. Azure is a resilient, scalable platform for your workloads, new services to build apps, all topped with set of management and operations solutions. At the same time, innovation should not be restricted just to the public cloud. You may have regulations to comply with, you may have specific application latency requirements, or simply a need of keeping up with the competition. Whichever is your reason, it's clear that hybrid deployments are here to stay. You're going to run your workloads in cloud and outside of public cloud data centers, but you still want to access all the benefits of of the cloud that provides. We wanted to bring you the value of cloud operations and architecture to any infrastructure, which will make your cloud to edge ecosystem simple, flexible, and secure. And that is why we built Azure Arc. Azure Arc is a bridge that extends Azure platform so you can build applications and services with flexibility to run across data centers, edge, and multi-cloud environments. Azure Arc provides consistent development operations and security model for both new and existing applications. You can use same tools and same security and same governance technologies to create, manage, and apply the resources. Just like in our data centers, a subset of Azure services for applications, data and cloud are there to use on both new and existing hardware, virtualization and Kubernetes platforms, IoT devices, and integrated systems. We are committed to enabling companies to grow and transfer themselves through technology, paving the way for rapid innovation through applications and cost savings across their businesses, independent of who builds it or owns the facilities and the hardware. So many reasons to unify control planes and management tool sets. We have simplified ops management in a single set of skills and tools, built cloud skill muscle without making the leap into hyperscale, apply security, consistency, posture, control, and end-to-end observability across cloud and DC. Deploy your runbooks infrastructure as code as if it was in the cloud anywhere. You can also extend cloud services, operating models, and deployments across any infra. You can connect silos data platforms for greater visibility and manage that data governance with Purview. So this is just a bit of what Azure Arc can help you achieve. So let's not talk about the specific solutions a bit more, starting with Arc-enabled servers that will let you take advantage of these cloud-native security and governance services. Azure Arc-enabled servers lets you manage Windows and Linux physical servers and also virtual machines hosted outside of Azure on your corporate network or other cloud providers. This management experience is designated to be consistent with how you manage native Azure virtual machines using standard Azure construct such as Azure Policy, Microsoft Defender for Cloud, Azure Update Management, Microsoft Sentinel, and Azure Monitor. So you can have a consistent way to manage servers running anywhere. When a hybrid machine is connected to Azure, it becomes connected machine and is treated as a resource in Azure. Each connected machine has a resource ID enabling the machine to be included in a resource group. And that's how the machine is considered in the Azure environment. Going a little bit further on this one, using Azure Arc, we are bringing more Azure data manageability to SQL servers on-prem and in multi-cloud for our data customers. The three capabilities that customers most care about are management, governance, security for their SQL server workloads, and Azure Arc is bringing it to the next level. With Arc, customers can manage all SQL state using Azure, getting a single view of all SQL Server in a central portal to better manage their inventory and licenses. We also provide SQL best practice analyzer to automatically evaluate SQL Server like security, performance, scalability, business continuity, and more with no additional cost. For governance, we enabled Microsoft Purview access policies for SQL Server through Arc, so customers can control and govern their entire data state and generate central insights. And for security, we lightened up Microsoft Defender for Cloud to enhance security gesture for SQL Server and single sign-on with Azure Active Directory to secure identities. These are Azure security capabilities that customers or partners have wanted on-prem for a long time. And all these features are now available, and we will bring more data manageability to SQL Server through Arc in the near future. So with Arc, customers or partners can also manage all SQL state using Azure, get a single view of all SQL Server in a central portal to better manage their inventory and licenses. We also provide SQL best practice analyzer to automatically evaluate SQL Server like security, performance, scalability, business continuity with no additional cost, right? So we also have Arc-enabled SQL MI, which is MI on any infra using consistent Azure control plane, evergreen SQL with all the license complexity abstracted with simplified cloud billing model. So this is kind of a portfolio of capabilities to support our hybrid and multi-cloud strategy, and it starts with Azure Arc. Azure Arc enables you to standardize the visibility, operations, and compliance across the wide range of resources and locations by extended the Azure control panel. Right from Azure, you can easily organize, govern, and secure your Windows, Linux, SQL Server, and Kubernetes clusters across data centers, edge, and multi-cloud. If you're enabled by Azure Arc, you can bring Azure services to any existing infrastructure, including other clouds you're using. So you can take advantage of cloud benefits everywhere, such as scalability, fast deployment, and always up-to-date cloud innovation. Third point is you can also build Azure consistent new cloud infrastructure in your own data center with Azure Stack. So you can modernize your data center and run cloud native applications on-prem while taking advantage of existing investments and meeting regulatory compliances. The fourth point is you can also extend AI to edge devices with Azure IoT. So you can run machine learning and advanced analytics close to the users and data. As a result, you can gain real-time insights and deliver immersive experiences at the edge of your network, opening up endless new business opportunities. So using Arc, we are bringing more Azure data manageability to SQL Server on-prem and in multi-cloud. And there are three capabilities that customers, they always care, which we already discussed. But we also want to make sure that Arc servers with cloud data manageability also discuss about the management, the control, and the security of all these features while we are bringing it more to observe. So moving on to the next topic, which is how do we secure our Azure Arc-enabled servers with Microsoft Defender for Cloud. I don't know how many of you have used the tool Defender for Cloud, but it is a tool for security posture management and threat protection. It strengthens the security posture of your cloud resources with its integrated Microsoft Defender plans. Defender for Cloud protects workloads running in Azure, hybrid, and other cloud platforms. Defender for Cloud provides the tools needed to harden your resources, track your security posture, protect against cyber attacks, and streamline security management. Because it's natively integrated, deployment of Defender for Cloud is easy, providing you with simple auto provisioning to secure your resources by default. Defender for Cloud fills three vital needs as you manage the security of your resources and workloads in the cloud and on-premise. The first one is continuous assessment. Understanding your current security posture across your hybrid and multi-cloud resources and providing you with secure score, which is an important point for Microsoft Defender for Cloud. What is a secure score? It is a single score so that you can tell at a glance your current security situation. The higher the score, the lower the identified risk level. The second point is secure. Harden all the connected resources and services with security recommendations. Customized and prioritized hardening tasks to improve your posture. You are implementing a recommended solution or anything by following a detailed recommended steps provided in the recommendations. For many recommendations, Defender for Cloud offers a fix button for automated implementation. The third thing is defend. How do we defend at the like which means detecting and resolving threats to those resources and services within the security alerts. With enhanced security features enabled, Defender for Cloud detects threats to your resources and workloads. These alerts appear in Azure portal, and Defender can for Cloud can also send them by email to the relevant personnel in your organizations. Alerts can also be streamed to SIEM, SOAR, or IT management solutions as required. So this is just an overview of what all Defender for Cloud can help you, achieve. Going into a little more detail on how we have integrated this with Azure Arc, Defender for Cloud for servers is one of the enhanced security feature for Defender for Cloud, using it to add threat detection and advanced defenses to your Windows and Linux machines, whether they are running in Azure, on-prem, or in a multi-cloud environment. To protect the machines in hybrid and multi-cloud environments, Defender for Cloud uses Azure Arc. And what are the benefits of doing that is you can easily deploy Defender as an extension to your Arc-enabled server directly from Azure portal without even installing a separate agent on premises. The second one is vulnerability assessment built in for the machines. Microsoft Defender for servers include a choice of vulnerability discovery and management tools for your machines. From Defender for Cloud's settings pages, you can actually select which one of these tools to deploy to your machine, and the discovered vulnerabilities will be shown in the security recommendation. The next one is Microsoft Threat and Vulnerability Management, discovering the vulnerabilities and misconfigurations in real time with Defender for Endpoint and without the need of additional agents or periodic scans. Threat and Vulnerability Management prioritizes vulnerabilities based on threat landscapes, detections in your organization's sensitive information on vulnerable devices, and businesses context. I have provided additional link to learn more about this one. The next one, it can serve as vulnerability scanner powered by Qualys. So Qualys scanner is one of the leading tools for real-time identifications of vulnerabilities in your Azure or hybrid virtual machines. You don't need a Qualys license or even a Qualys account. Everything is handled seamlessly inside the Defender for Cloud. So the third one is just-in-time virtual machine access. Threats across actively Threat actors actively hunt accessible machines with open management ports like RDPs or SSHs. All of your virtual machines are potential targets for an attack. When a VM is successfully compromised, it's used as an entry point to attack further resources within your environment. And when you enable Defender for Cloud for servers, you can use just-in-time VM access to lock down the inbound traffic to your VMs, reducing exposure to attacks while providing easy access to connect to VMs when needed. The next one is Adaptive Application Controls, AAC. Adaptive Application Controls are an intelligent and automated solutions for defining a allow list of known safe applications for your machines. And when you have enabled and configured adapted application controls, you will get security alerts if any application runs other than the ones you have defined as safe. Last but not the least, with Azure Policy integration, you can set security guardrails within Defender. Owners can view and remediate to meet their compliance from a single pane of glass. Now, how do we strengthen our security posture? Defender for Cloud enables you to strengthen your security posture. This means it will help you identify and perform the hardening tasks recommended as security best practices and implementing them across your machines, data services, and apps. This includes managing and enforcing your security policies, making sure your Azure virtual machines or even non-Azure servers and Azure PaaS services are compliant. Security Center provides you with the tools you need to have a bird's eye view of your workloads with focused visibility on your network security estate. With so many service offering security benefits, it's often hard to know the steps to take first to secure and harden your workload. And Azure Secure Score reviews your security recommendations and prioritizes them for you so you know which recommendation to perform first. And this will also help you find the most serious security vulnerabilities so you can prioritize the investigation. Secure Score is a tool that helps you access your workload's security posture. So, hardening your resources and services with Azure Security Benchmark. It is a security basic to know and make sure that your workloads are secure. And it starts with having tailored security policies in place. Because the policies in Defender for Cloud are built on top of the Azure policy controls, you're getting a full range and flexibility of world-class policy solution. In Defender for Cloud, you can set your policies to run on management groups across subscriptions and even for the whole tenant. Defender for Cloud continuously discovers new resources that are being deployed across your workloads and also accesses whether they are configured according to the security best practices. If not, they are flagged and you get the prioritized list of recommendations for what you need to fix. Recommendations help you reduce the attack surfacing across each of your resources. And the list of recommendations is enabled and supported by Azure Security Benchmark. This is Microsoft authored Azure specific benchmark that provides a set of guidelines for security and compliance best practices based on common compliance framework. In this way, Defender for Cloud enables you not just to set the security policies, but also to apply a secure configuration standards across your resources. And that's kind of a overview of how it looks like in the Azure portal. Okay, so moving on to, how do we monitor our compliance and the governance assessment. So security assessments mapped to the compliance controls and requirements enabling aggregated view of compliance status. Azure Security Benchmark is always monitored in the dashboard by default and is fully aligned with Secure Score. Therefore, resolving those recommendations helps to meet the control requirements and helps raising your score at the same time. This dashboard is dynamic, so you can monitor exactly the set of standards that are important to your organization. You can also onboard custom standards to the dashboard and define your own custom control set. Reports can be downloaded for each standard, and you can also choose from the executive level a PDF or a detailed CSV report. How do you manage your organization security policy and compliance? It's a security best practice to know and make sure your workloads are secure, and it starts with having a tailored security policy in place. Because all the policies in Azure in the security center are built on top of Azure policy, you're getting a world class policy solution, and that can help you deploy these solutions on the regulatory compliance dashboard. Moving a little bit ahead, some of the common questions that we have from our customers is, why is database threat protection required? Databases are at risk as they contain business critical sensitive data, making them a major target for any type of malicious actor. And what is Defender for Cloud? It offers you a comprehensive hybrid and multi-cloud application and workload protection platform spanning across applications entire lifecycle from code to runtime by reducing the overall attack, detecting threats, and responding to attacks. What is Defender for SQL? A database protection solution combining active threat detection and proactive attack surface reduction in one product. What is Defender for servers? An OS level threat protection solution combining active threat protection and proactive attack surface reduction in one product. And what are the use cases for Defender for SQL and the types of attacks it protects. It can protect brute force attacks, access using compromised credentials, SQL injection attacks, access anomalies, query anomalies, DB to OS lateral move attacks, exfiltration of sensitive data. The one question also we get is the protection in real time or scanned against the logs? It's a mix of both. You can access anomaly and brutal phase attacks are usually generated under 15 minutes, which is usually 1 to 5 minutes, and query anomaly alerts are in the real time in seconds actually. So what data is being collected by Defender for SQL? So, there are different types of data for different types of alerts or access alerts that are being collected. It can collect from like audit events, aggregated log data, SQL based security alerts, SQL vulnerability assessments, agent telemetry, which is performing as CPU memory, billing data, and all that stuff. So now, going into a little more further into gaining the security insights from Azure Arc-enabled using Microsoft Sentinel. I'm not sure how many of you have used Sentinel, but again, amazing tool. And the third scenario that we have is intelligent security analytics across your organization. This breadth approach is delivered with Microsoft Sentinel, our cloud native security information event management tool, SIEM tool. The SIEM is a tool that aggregates logs from all the company's resources, whether it is an OS or an application or an antivirus or a database or server logs, and analyzes large quantities of data from one place, searching for anomalies and signs of threat. With Sentinel, you can collect data at cloud scale across all users, devices, applications, infrastructures, both on-prem or multi-clouds. You can detect previously uncovered threats and minimize false positives using analytics. You can investigate threats with AI and hunt suspicious activities at scale, tapping into decades of cybersecurity works at Microsoft. And you can also respond to incidents rapidly with built-in orchestration and automation of common tasks. Now, Microsoft Sentinel makes it easy to collect the security data across your entire hybrid organizations from devices, users, app, servers, or any cloud. Sentinel uses the power of AI to help you quickly identify real threats and releases you from the burden of traditional SIEMs by eliminating the need to spend time on setting up, maintaining, and scaling infrastructure. Since it's built on Azure, Sentinel offers limitless cloud scale and speed and scales automatically to address your needs. SecOps in your organization can focus quickly on finding real threats, and Microsoft Sentinel helps you reduce the noise from legitimate events with built-in machine learning and knowledge based on the analysis of trillions of signals daily. In February 2020, we shared an example of how Azure Sentinel used machine learning with its fusion capabilities and filtered through 50 billion plus anomalous alerts and reduced it to 25 high fidelity actionable incidents. This example shows on how Sentinel can help reduce alert fatigue by 90%. Azure Sentinel is an open and an extendable solution. It enables your team to bring your own insights, tailored detections, machine learning models, and threat intelligence to customize analytics for your own environment. For example, if you want to customize and enrich detections more than the built-in ML models, then you can bring your own models to Azure Sentinel using built-in Azure Machine Learning Service or use Microsoft Graph API to integrate your existing threat intelligent fields with Azure Sentinel. Additionally, it also enables a community driven approach to share and enhance best practices, threat intelligence, and mitigation. GitHub community available through Azure Sentinel dashboard can be used to share hunting queries or even predefined Jupyter notebooks. So what all Sentinel is compromised of doing, or how do we actually detect the threats and analyze the security with AI? Analyzing and detecting threats quickly with AI on your side is, like how security analysts are facing a huge burden of triage, as they are not only, they have to shift through a sea of alerts, but also correlate these alerts from different products manually using a traditional correlation engine. That's why Azure Sentinel uses a state-of-art scalable machine learning algorithms to correlate millions of low fidelity alerts to few high fidelity security incidents. Azure Sentinel also includes usual behavior analytics to help you identify the anomalies, compromised identities, or malicious insider actions. ML technologies will help you quickly get value from large amounts of security you're ingesting and connecting the dots from you. For example, a compromised account leading to Office 365 mailbox exfiltration. It helps reduce noise drastically. We have seen all average reduction of up to 90% alert fatigue with early adopters. These machine learning models are built in to give you benefits of decades of Microsoft security experience, that is ongoing knowledge from running hundreds of cloud services. You do not need to be a data scientist to run these models, and some SecOps teams may need to customize the ML based analysis, and they can even bring their own ML models into Sentinel. So this is some of the use cases in regards to, security use cases in regards to Microsoft Sentinel, regulatory compliance, Defender for Cloud, and how these can help our, ecosystem in defining. So a little bit on the new options for extended security updates. And, these are just because they are the 2012 SQL Server and Windows Server are reaching at the end of their support lifecycle. So I'm just discussing here the options to include an opportunity to transform your workloads to stay competitive, right? So as Microsoft continues to innovate with new versions of Windows and SQL Server, it is important to note that we do have a product lifecycle that leads us to move older versions of this product to end of support. And here's the deadline of how this looks. And Windows Server 2012 R2 is upcoming version reaching to end of support, and SQL Server is also there, right? So it makes sense for us to look at both of these as you build your end of the support plan. You can also continue your Windows Server safely in your environment, at least until expiration date, which is 2026. Microsoft also backs each server version with minimum of 10 years support, 5 years of for mainstream and 5 years for extended support that include regular security updates. Many customers that went through the end of support exercise when Microsoft ended its supports for 2008 Windows Server, they then had an option to migrate to Azure Virtual Machine and receive free extended security updates, or even upgrade their on-prem to the latest operating system. If you put off action, however, you miss on the new security and efficiency feature that would easily justify a move either to Azure or to latest Windows Server. Take the time to access your opinions on or options to make the decisions that is right for your organization. But we are just here to support you and let you know on how you can make this more protected and secure. So let's look into the options that you have for end of the support workloads. Firstly, you can modernize your application on Azure. Your application running on-prem today can be modernized in the cloud, taking the advantage of PaaS capabilities such as Azure App Service and SQL managed instance. You can avoid end of support dates for good and always stay up to date with high available secure manner without even need to manually update the operating system. We also have added the option in Azure Migrate to upgrade your OS automatically as a part of migration to Azure onto the latest Windows server. Your Windows virtual machine in VMware is replicated to Azure, and you have the ability to test the functionality on the latest operating system without affecting your current workload on-prem until you are satisfied and committed to the migration, leaving you on a supported operating system and no need to extend for support. Secondly, you can lift and shift your Windows Server to Azure. You can take the advantage of 3 years extended security updates at no cost with ability to combine this with Azure Hybrid benefit and reservations or saving plans to save on the compute costs. This is inclusive of Azure native virtual machines or our other hybrid solutions such as Azure Stack HCI in your data center, or also have an option to retain your current tools with VMware solutions, right? Now, the third option is we will deep dive into today is ability to keep your VMs where they are and receive an extended security updates using Azure Arc for servers for seamless automated patching with an option to keep your existing update management solution today without any change. And how do we do it? So now that we have talked extensively on Azure Arc benefits, which will enable your servers, enabling you to extend Azure control plane to wherever your workload sits. With Azure Arc enabled extended security updates, we provide full flexibility monthly billing model, which with keyless activation, allowing you to take advantage of extended security updates on-prem and also gain the use of additional such as Azure Update Management, machine configuration, all included in the cost. You can also further extend your security visibility and governance of your on-prem estate by extending cloud native services such as Defender for Cloud, Sentinel, Azure Policy, Azure Monitor, down to your on-prem servers, giving you an easy first step into operating in hybrid cloud world. Now I want to show you a little bit of demo on how what this looks like.
This new offer, which is going to be made generally available in September, is going to constitute a really streamlined customer experience, especially compared to the traditional VL experience where customers have to go through volume licensing, acquire keys, and activate on each server. Moreover, in that traditional volume licensing experience, customers also have to pay for an entire year at a time. With the ESUs enabled by Azure Arc, our customer experience consists of first onboarding your servers to Azure Arc, then provisioning ESU licenses, and finally linking those ESU licenses to your eligible Windows Server 2012 Arc-enabled servers. The entire experience is keyless, and customers get billed on a monthly cadence, affording extra flexibility, especially as customers consider migration, modernization, and decommissioning of their end-of-support Windows Server 2012 infrastructure. Note that customers do have the flexibility to continue using the patching solution of their choice with this ESU offer, whether that's WSUS, SCCM, or Update Management Center, which is offered at no additional cost to our Arc ESU Windows Server 2012 customers. So let's go through the end-to-end customer flow for activating and linking a Windows Server 2012 Arc ESU license to some Arc-enabled servers. Here we see our license inventory. We've already provisioned some Arc ESU licenses corresponding to standard and data center additional with specified numbers of cores, virtual and physical cores. Let's suppose we want to now provision a new ESU license. We would provide it with a name, we would select to activate, and we would assign it to a region for the corresponding ARM object. We would then specify the SKU associated with our ESU license. Now let's suppose we want a standard edition license, and we want the cores to be based off of physical cores. Now this would subject us to a 16 core minimum, and so we know beforehand based off of our inventory of servers that we're going to need 20 cores. So we're going to enter in a 16 core pack and a 2 core pack, two of those 2 core packs. So we're going to be covering a total of 20 cores, 20 physical cores with a standard edition Windows Server 2012 license, and we're going to be activating it now so that we're able to enroll our eligible Arc-enabled servers and ESUs right after linking. Next, at the bottom, we're going to attest to the fact that we have SA. Note that just like the traditional ESU offer, there continues to be the SA requirement, including the SPLA requirement if running on an authorized mobility partner. So we've made that attestation. We've specified the number of cores. We've decided physical, standard edition, and we've decided to activate now. Well, with this, we've successfully created an ESU license. So here we can see we have an activated ESU license standard edition that's actually associated with no servers. So the next step is, now that I've provisioned this ESU license, I want to actually apply it to two separate Arc-enabled VMs. So the standard edition for Windows Server 2012 licensing can be applied to up to two VMs. So here I select Contoso Arc Server 01 and Contoso Arc Server 02. Note that with Arc enabling your servers, you get this true-up of your entire Windows Server 2012 estate, and you get visibility into where servers are enrolled in ESUs already, where you're lacking enrollment, and when you've enabled or enrolled through the traditional VL offer as well. So you have end-to-end visibility into the ESU coverage across your Arc-enabled Windows Server 2012 and R2 estate. So we noted the two Arc-enabled servers here are not enabled. We've provisioned this new standard license, and we want to link to those two Arc-enabled servers. So what we do is we point and click. We select those specific Arc-enabled servers. We click on Enable ESUs. Then we decide that we want a core type that's physical, and we select that core that we just provisioned, the ESU license 3. So now we have a physical core-based license for ESU license 3. Again, pulling in that information, it's standard edition, and going to cover 20 cores. We have 2 machines in scope, and we're going to click Enable. And voila, point and click, we've activated and enrolled these Arc-enabled servers, Contoso Arc Server 1, Contoso Arc Server 2, and Windows Server 2012 ESUs. Now we can use a solution of our choice in order to actually patch for ESUs. We're going to be billed on a monthly cadence through the activated license. Note that if we choose to migrate or modernize in the middle of the year, we simply are going to have a deletion of these Arc-enabled server resources and are able to deactivate or delete the associated Arc ESU license, and that's going to stop billing. This gives a lot of additional flexibility over time. Alternatively, suppose we want to change our licensing terms, increase the number of cores covered, we have that flexibility as well. So there's a lot of flexibility afforded by this new model. The other thing to note is now that we have our Arc-enabled server with ESU coverage, we can leverage additional Azure services and really gain familiarity with the Azure management plane as we seriously consider migrating this workload to Azure. For example, we can use Update Management Center, Change Tracking Inventory, Machine Configuration at free of cost, but we can also choose to use premium services at additional costs like Defender for Servers Plan 2, affording cloud security posture management and endpoint detection response capabilities, or Azure Modern and Microsoft Sentinel from a logging and security logging perspective, respectively. So with that, we've gone through a core end-to-end experience showcasing what this new Azure Arc-enabled Windows Server 2012 ESU offer is going to look like. We hope that this was helpful background, and we look forward to all the customers using this option to flexibly leverage Azure management to deliver ESUs and support their end-of-life infrastructure through Azure. Thank you.
Continuing with our session, this demo is in the slides and you can listen to it according to the pace that you want. The next up we have, it's just the screenshots on how you want to do it while you're doing it on Azure portal, the ESU support for Windows. And then this is some screenshots for ESU for SQL Server. Last but not the least, we have best practices for hybrid cloud application. So let's look at the big picture and how Azure allows us to take advantage of huge scale and security with ability to use the services such as Azure Policy, governance, and auto manage to automatically apply security baselines to virtual machines and keep them secure. With Azure Arc, we are extending these services to workloads no matter where they sit in your premises, data center, or any other cloud provider, giving you that single pane of glass for your Azure Arc agent is installed to your virtual machine. You can then see Azure Arc-enabled server appear in the portal much the same as a native VM in Azure. Azure Arc gives that server the capabilities to be managed from Azure, be that portal, Azure CLI, or PowerShell, and integrate with services such as update management. However, it is not mandatory to use this to receive extended security updates. You can keep using your existing patching solutions. Additional Azure services are optional, but but you also can have an easy way to manage the VMs at scale with a single pane of glass at no matter where they are running. So for complete guidance on Azure hybrid and multiple approach, for those of you who are not familiar with either Azure or Azure Arc, we have fantastic to support your cloud adoption journey from strategy to planning all the way to onboarding and management, providing an holistic guide across people, processes, and technology pillars which are unique to your business case, along with the intended business outcomes and corresponding technology requirements. Not only you will get access to tools and templates such as business case templates, cloud maturity assessments, or governance benchmarks to kickstart your planning phase, you will also find lots of technical best practice from reference architectures through to workload assessments to make sure that any existing deployments are in line with our well-architected framework and best practices. Specifically for hybrid cloud adoption scenarios, we have also introduced ARC-specific landing zone accelerators to ensure that your hybrid environments meet our design guidelines with regards to connectivity and unified operations principles from the off. So the next step is for us to look at the Jumpstart documentation. For Azure Arc documentation, we have Azure Arc learning path. We also have a learning companion, which will give you a detailed path on how do we learn on Azure Arc. We also have ESU docs and total impact, economic impact report for you to review. So thank you everyone for listening to this session on Azure Arc. By simplifying operations, management, and security across distributed environments. Thank you so much for listening. Let me know if you have any questions. Please feel free to reach out. Thank you. Bye.